everybody, welcome back to a new video. My name is Melanie Josephine. I'm a relationship expert and life coach, and today I want to talk about a topic that I have had on my list for a while. I think I haven't addressed it until now because I didn't quite know how to address it, how to find the right words, and what actually was my point that I wanted to bring across. However, I have a new structure of doing things, and usually I now write an article about the topic before I film a video. So I have already put a lot of thought and effort and structuring in my article about this topic, and when the article goes live I'm also going to put it in the info box, but I don't know if it's there now because the video might come online before the article. So a lot of people have asked me about this topic, when to be intimate with somebody, like when you go out into the dating world, when is the right time to be intimate with someone. And obviously there isn't just one answer to this, because there never is with whatever topic you come across. There's always different opinions, different sort of research, but I guess what it comes down to is how can you find the right answer for yourself. And this is basically what I have researched when I wrote this article, is how you can find the answer for yourself. And I'm also going to talk a little bit about how I found the right answer for myself. So in the article, I wrote a little bit about the fact that I struggled with other people's opinions in the past, because when I was in my early 20s, I would go usually to Sydney, Australia, and I would go out and party a lot with my friends. And they would always say to me why I didn't take advantage of all the opportunities I had in terms of going home with people. Like, why would I always say no? Why would I always turn down the fun? And it came to the point where so many people had said that to me that I almost felt like something was wrong with me, only to realize over time that other people's opinions don't really count. Like, asking yourself, going within yourself, finding out what's right for you is always the right thing. But probably if you're watching this video, you also know that this is sometimes easier said than done. Sometimes we feel confused, sometimes we just want to go with the flow. Like when we meet somebody, we don't want to have all of these rules, we just want to be out there and be in love and just let the universe do its thing. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that love obviously also has to do with just being in the flow. But since I am looking back on my own experiences, I can say that having some idea of what you want or some idea of how things should go down is not necessarily a bad thing. By the way, I forgot to mention, we've got snow today, which is super exciting, and it doesn't really come across on the camera, but maybe you can see a little bit in that window. It's really nice and white. So let's carry on to the next point. How can you find out what it is that is right for you? Because what's right for you does not necessarily mean that's right for me. I want to mention an example of a previous co-worker of mine. When I lived in Turkey, I had a co-worker who would basically have casual intimacy with one of the other colleagues. You can see I was thinking in my head, how do I say this? And she had lots of fun, she didn't care what other people thought, and she also wasn't worried about a commitment, like whether this would turn into a commitment or not. She was literally just having fun. So that means she was in alignment with what she wanted. I think the main reason I'm making this video, or the person this video probably, I'm assuming, is for, is the person who is not fully in alignment with where they are or what they're doing, or what they've done in the past hasn't really led to where they want to be, hence probably a committed relationship. So what does all this mean? What does it mean to be in alignment with what you want? If you want to be in a committed relationship, my advice is that you approach what you want the way that you would approach a client or a job. Why am I mentioning this example? I am mentioning this example because when we approach a job, we first think about what we want and we define what we want, and then we look for what's out there and we apply for what is most specific to what we want. Hopefully we put quality before quantity and we apply. When we then get an interview, we share our skill set, we put our best foot forward, and when everything matches up perfectly, then we have a new job or we have a new client. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this in terms of dating and specifically this topic that we're talking about today is because things get a little bit muddled up because of what society tells us or what love movies tell us. We often believe that love should just fall in our lap, we should just walk across the street, look somebody in the eye, fall madly in love, and it all works out. But because we believe that, it's almost like we sabotage ourselves. We set ourselves up for failure because of this belief that is basically ruining it for us. Because if we approach our love life a little bit more like our professional life, we could cut out a lot of disappointment and we could move towards a goal that we have much quicker. And what do I mean? So when I said we look at what job or what client we want, if we do the same in our dating lives, if we get really concrete in what you want and we search for somebody who has that, especially nowadays with all the dating websites that are out there, you can very specifically look through people's profiles and get a good idea whether they match what we're looking for. So that is step one. And if you do that, you can most likely also get a feel. If they don't maybe directly say it in their profile, you can find out whether this person is looking for commitment. So the original question wouldn't be such an issue because you know this is what they want. This is ultimately what they're seeking. And then step two is when you then meet, that you also put your best foot forward. Now, I'm not saying that you didn't do that in your past, but what I mean by best foot forward in terms of dating is to think about what stories you want to share about yourself ahead of time. And not to make any stories up that aren't true about yourself, but to think about stories that are true about yourself and that show your actual character. Because just as much it is true in the career world that our first impression counts, our first impression also counts very much when we are dating. And then in the end, hopefully you have a lovely match. So that was one example how to do it. But I want to elaborate a little bit more on the original question. So when I first started to look into this whole relationship topic and dating, when I was really confused in the past and didn't really understand how this whole thing's supposed to work, I read a lot of books, I watched a lot of videos, I went to live events, I did all the things. And there's one topic that I came across over and over and over again, and honestly, I was kind of annoyed with it. It was the topic of the high value woman. And the reason I was a little bit annoyed about is because a lot of videos that I watched didn't really go into detail what it meant to be a high value woman or how I could be one. They would just blabber about on how a high value woman would always get a high value man, or how a high value woman would always get commitment, blah blah blah, but they wouldn't really go into the details of what it takes to be one or how you can become one, which is ultimately the most important message. So now I understand that what it means to be a high value woman, or how you can become a high value woman, is by respecting and valuing yourself. Okay, this is a big thing too, and I cannot go into all of this. Maybe look up some of my self-love videos, because I go more into detail of self-love, self-trust and confidence. But I want to elaborate a little bit on it, because when it comes to the term high value woman or woman, sorry, in terms of this topic, is that when you're in alignment with what you want, so when you've done the research on what you want and get clarity, and that means finding clarity of what's okay for you, finding clarity on when is it okay to have intimacy for you, and be real honest with yourself. And if the answer is that you only want to be intimate if you are in a commitment, then that is absolutely okay. Like whatever you can be in alignment with. But here's the key. Once you make that decision and you go out into the dating world, in order to be a high value woman, you need to respect what you have decided before you went into the dating world. Whatever you decide, that's what you need to respect. Because what happens very often is that when we meet someone and we like them, or we feel like we're about to fall in love with them, that we throw everything we have decided beforehand out the window, and we just flow on the love cloud, or however you want to say it. But we then kind of put the power and we put the power and the decision making into the other person's hand, because we tend to think that if we really like this person, they wouldn't do anything to upset us or hurt us, and they may not intentionally want to do that. But if we stop respecting ourselves because we don't respect our decisions from prior the dating process, then it is possible that the other person will also not respect us, even if all of these things go unsaid, because this is all about energy, and somebody can simply feel whether you're respecting yourself or not. And if you've made the decision that you didn't want to be intimate until you both made the decision to be in a committed relationship, then what that looks like is, when it comes to that kind of point, or like this line where you either cross or not, you need to find out where you are. And if the other person needs to get to know you better, or isn't ready to make that final statement, this is absolutely fine. But what I came to in my love life is that I gave the person, basically all the time in the world to make the decision, but while they're doing that, we are not being intimate. And what that did for me ultimately is that, hold on. I was able to not overly invest in a relationship that has not fully formed yet. And I was able to get my answers before the commitment or before anything happened. And then thirdly, this also gave me more confidence in myself. I felt really proud that I stuck with my decision. I was able to trust myself more because of it. And frankly, I got answers very, very quickly. Like, I gave them all the time in the world, but I got my answers very, very quickly. And this is really key, because when somebody doesn't want a commitment, that is obviously their choice, that is okay. But if you get that answer so quickly and you're not overly committing, then you can very quickly move on and get to the person you want to be with much quicker. So this is ultimately, I feel like I've said ultimately so many times, but it doesn't matter. Ultimately, the choice is yours. Whatever you feel in your heart is right for you. And the way that you can find that out is meditating, going for a walk, putting that question out into the universe. Even if the answer doesn't come immediately, if you keep putting the question out, the answer will eventually come. Don't you worry, the answer will eventually come. And when it does, simply respect the answer that comes. And then when you do, that's when you will be in alignment. That's when you will be what people call the high value woman. I don't really like that expression, because we are all high value women. Yeah, so I'll probably do another video on that, so enough of that in this video. But I hope this was helpful for you. Leave me a comment if you like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and if you need and if you are looking for a life coach to change your love life forever, please contact me. Lots of love.